Okay. Thank you. Good morning. Let me thank Dominic for inviting me to be here. It's really a great pleasure to be with all of you and to talk about these potential new methods in evaluation. My presentation is going to be very much connected to the previous one. It's more a personal reflection and trying to assess potential advantages, risk, of using generative AI or similar tools. But well, I hope that this is, it's good for the discussion that we will have later. And I have organized the presentation first to tell you, yes, second, the basics of ERC, though probably most of you know what the ERC is. Then a brief description on the evaluation process, because this will help me to go into the core of what I want to share with you today. That is these personal reflections on the use of artificial intelligence by funders, by many of us. And also I will share with you the current position of ERC on the use of artificial intelligence. So let me start just with the basics. Okay, so ERC is part of the Horizon Europe framework program. This, as you know, is a multi-annual, 7 years long program for research and innovation, around 100,000 million of budget for these 7 years. And ERC is part of it in the so-called Pillar 1, together with other programs that probably you know well, like the Maria Slodowska-Curie actions and the infrastructures. Our budget for this year is around 16 billion. It's a bit more because after the association of UK, this is going to increase around 19 billion for the 7-year period. And the rationale behind the ERC is very, very concrete in the legislation. Here I'm quoting what is in the legislation. So it's a program to provide attractive and flexible funding, to enable talented and creative individual researchers, and also with an emphasis in the young researchers or early stage researchers. Around 2/3 of our PIs are early stage researchers. By early stage researchers, we mean between 2 and 12 years after the PhD. And through a broad competition across all countries of the European Union, plus all the associated countries to the program. And the area of intervention is frontier research. Why ERC has chosen this term to not basic, not fundamental? Well, frontier research is a broad concept that is not really well defined in the legislation, but basically tries to accommodate basic as well as applied research. It's not a program only for basic research, it's broader, and we fund a lot of applied research too. And 2 important features. One is, as was mentioned later, the only criterion of excellence that it characterizes ERC. And it's important to remark this, sometimes this looks obvious, but not in the context of the European Union and their programs by the Commission, where there are typically for the rest of the programs in Horizon Europe, other criteria that have to be used, like the socioeconomic impact of the project and so on and so forth. And the other feature is that it's bottom-up, so we cover all the areas of knowledge without establishing any priorities, so all the areas are equally fundable and with the same chances to be funded. So these are just the main features. The evaluation process. So the evaluation process has to apply this only criterion, that is excellence, and also has to take into account this emphasis on the early stage career researchers. So the program is basically divided in 4 main funding schemes that are here, starting, consolidators, and advanced, but basically are the same schemes but focusing on different career stages. And then we have this additional funding scheme, synergy grants, that is for groups of principal investigators to try to cover or to fund some projects that with at the individual level they are hard to carry out and they need 2, 3, or 4 principal investigators. Proof of concept is a top-up grant for the PIs that they have other grants, but I will not discuss that. What I want to the emphasis is an excellence as the sole evaluation criterion. And excellence is seen as the excellence of the research project and the excellence of the principal investigator. And there you have the three features associated to each of these elements for excellence. Let me tell you, but this will be a full conference, but I'm not going to get into it, that ERC has done a reflection that has been implemented in Work Program 2024, the current one, to elaborate more on how the excellence criterion is used by the evaluators, by the researchers that they are doing the assessment, doing more emphasis on following the responsible research assessment exercise, but not driven by us, driven by the members of the ERC Scientific Council, to make it more inclusive. Okay, so this is, as I said, something that will require a different session to talk about these changes. But the message here is that now, okay, in this shift, in these changes in 24, is more important, okay, in this assessment of excellence, the excellence of the project, of the research proposal, the research that you're going to be doing as a PI, than the principal investigator. Okay? The assessment of the principal investigator is most to assess if the credentials or the experience that is shown in the application are good enough to carry out the research that the PI is proposing. Okay, so this has changed a bit the focus that in the past were more 50-50. Now is more, the emphasis is more on the research project. That's an important change. But okay, here we are talking about new methods. I'm not going to get into that. But let me see that there are two key elements that determine how we do the evaluation. First, in ERC, well, we had the privilege to be able to have evaluators from anywhere in the world, and we try to invite the top researchers from all the areas. And also we have this feature, shared by other funders, that the applicants are interviewed. Okay, there's an interview in the selection process. Well, this automatically implies that you have a very strong constraint. Okay, you cannot have the top scientists evaluating researchers for more than 5 days. They will never serve for you if you impose much. So we have a limitation in time in the capacity of these people to serve as evaluators. And this constrains the whole system, because then we need a filtering process. We need at least a step to filter. So in the interview, we have only a few, similar to the processes that we have seen in the previous presentation. And again, this implies a multi-step process. So how is the evaluation done? Before going into the steps, let me tell you a bit about the proposal, because this is relevant for this. We ask for the scientific proposal, but since we are going to have a filtering process, we ask also for what is called the extended synopsis, something that is evaluated in the first step only. Why? Because what we do in the first step is an assessment at the level of the panels. And again, you cannot ask these top researchers to spend too much time doing that, because they will not do the job for you. So we ask for a reduced version, okay, of the proposal. That's this extended synopsis. So how? Well, and also we organize the evaluation through panels covering all knowledge. This is just a way to cover, to orientate, and to also for us to organize the evaluation process. And this is an evolving picture. This is not, let's say, always fixed. We started with 20, then 25, 27, and now we are in 28. This is the current structure. So we have panels where we have all these reviews. We have more or less every year around 1,100 panel members in the different, covering the different funding schemes. So how is the evaluation? The evaluation has, as I said, 2 steps. This is the case of starting, consolidated, and advanced. Synergy has 3 steps. It's a bit more complicated, but the message I want to convey is basically the same. So in the first step, this is an assessment at the level of the panel members. We don't ask external people or to have many reviews for all of them, okay? We just tell the panels, looking only at the synopsis and the CV and track record of the applicant, to do a first assessment, okay, and this they do individual reviews. The panel members, each panel members can assess sometimes 20, sometimes more, 30 reviews. This is a lot of work, okay? That's the reason why we have this synopsis, so they don't have to read the full proposal at this stage. And they meet and they decided which ones go to the step 2. We have 2 scores, okay, for the ones rejected. B and C. C are the ones that are very weak, okay. B is the ones that, well, they have some positive elements but not enough to go to step 2. It will be very interesting, okay, to an exercise like the one that was presented, to see at least a pilot, to see if we are able to predict the C's as good as you are predicting the weak ones. It would be very interesting, and we should talk about that possibility. And then the ones that go to step 2, okay, are then, and this is very important. I mean, as you can imagine, in a panel, we have 15, 17 people, so they don't cover completely all the knowledge in depth that is needed to assess all the proposals. Or there is one that is covering this, but not the rest. So we need additional information from experts, okay, that are really experts on the content of the proposal to continue with the assessment. And this is done through what we call remote reviewers. So between step 1 and step 2, the panels identify reviewers, I mean, typically like 10, 12 per proposal, because we have a success rate in these people reviewing for us that is around 1/3, 30%. And all these reviews are incorporated in the discussion of the panel that finally meets, discuss, and also interview the applicants. And finally, they take a decision, and the possible scores are A, that is fundable, B, that, well, was not good enough to be fundable. And among these, unfortunately, we cannot fund all of them because this depends on the resources we have. And typically, we fund more or less a bit like 60% of the ones that get an A. And so we have a lot of, let's say, proposals that are obviously very high quality, that pass all the excellence approach assessment, but we are not able to fund. Okay, so this is the picture of the evaluation process that we do. And then I will talk to you about the position of ERC, the current one on AI, but then I will go to personal reflections on where these methods that based on generative AI could be used in the process, okay, to improve the way we do the evaluation, looking at some risks, advantages, and so on. So what is the position? Basically, the position of ERC, the current one that is public in our website, is that, well, is a message for the applicants, okay? And we are telling the applicants, okay, you can use whatever you want to prepare your proposal, your colleagues, your friends, your neighbor, any generative AI system, whatever you want, okay? But you are the responsible of what you write in the proposal, okay? That's basically the message. And we are not going to ask if you have been using it or not, basically because we don't really know what to do with that information. So this is the message, okay? You are the ultimate responsible of what is in the proposal. If for some reason you use a mechanism, you are copying the ideas of others, you are responsible. You cannot give that responsibility to somebody else. It's you. Okay? So that's basically the position. And internally, in the ERC, some members of the Scientific Council, together with the support of the ERC Executive Agency, are following developments, are following inquiries that we have from applicants and inquiries that we have also from reviewers. And we are, let's say, in a case-building approach to take more decisions if needed in the future. Okay? So then the next are personal reflections, okay, and I have a clear disclaimer. This is not the position of the ERC at all, okay. This is more the outcome of brainstorming discussions among the people in my unit. The unit I work is the unit that provides support to the Scientific Council and is the policy unit in the ERC executive agency of the ERC. So I will focus on applicants, reviewers, identification of reviewers, and panel configurations. And many of these ideas, they have a clear overlap with the activities that were presented before. Let me start with the applicant. Well, no, before starting with all these groups, let me share with you 3 remarks, okay? I mean, all this is very personal. As I tell you, or the result of brainstorming discussions among the colleagues in my unit. So first, all the A-based systems referred in what I will be discussing are private. What I mean by private means that they are not, let's say, in a cloud domain that like ChatGPT or others. They are ad hoc systems built for the exclusive use of the funders, okay? Because confidentiality is essential in the whole process. So whatever system we could use for this, it has to be private, as probably this is the case in the work you presented. Then I will present some advantages and risks, okay? As I say, very personal, but, okay, in any discussion on the use of generative AI or others, the word unimaginable is always present. So what I'm saying is not complete at all, okay? I'm sure there are many risks that I am not, or we are not at this moment able to see, and there are advantages that also we are not able to see. And, well, by AI-based system, that is the term I'm using, I mean now generative AI, but it could be some other systems that probably now they are unimaginable. Okay, so let's start now with applicants. Okay, the first question that I ask myself is, should funders create an AI-based system to support applicants in drafting their proposals? Okay. Well, the applications of AI in proposal preparation, I think, could serve to create a more level playing field across applicants with different exposures to AI. I don't know what is the situation here in the Spanish agency, but in the ERC, we see a very, very broad level of quality in the proposals, depending on the origin of these proposals. Typically, proposals coming from what are qualified as widening participation countries. In average, they are weaker than the others, but weaker in many senses, in the sense they are structured, in the sense they are adapted. Okay, sometimes the ideas behind are extremely good, but they are not presented with the right quality. So to have a more level playing field, I think it's important for funders, okay, to give equal opportunities to all the principal investigators. And before talking about the advantages and the risks, let me talk about the risk of not doing so. The risk is that organizations will create their own systems. If you see the plans of the use of artificial intelligence in many universities in the United States, okay, all of them, they mentioned that they will create their own system to improve their applications to NSF and NIH. And in fact, many of them, they do a cost-benefit analysis. I mean, if an improvement of 10% in the quality of our proposal would be such as amount of money and we are going to spend, I mean, they are doing it. Everyone is doing it, okay? So the question is, okay, the universities or research institutes that they are more in the, let's say, exposed to the use of AI will have an advantages compared to others. And we will have, again, another component for the so-called Matthew effect, that the people that they have already an advantage will have more advantages. So well, we funders, we could consider to create one for everybody. And we have a an advantage compared to the University of Barcelona, because the University of Barcelona will have only information about the proposals that they have submitted to the different funders. But here in ERC, we have now 120,000 proposals since we started, okay? So we can train the system much better than anybody else. So doing a good job here, an intelligent system based on all the information that we have, we could create the best tool and can be used across the board. Okay, so it can be also customized for our specificities. It will be made available for all applicants. These are all advantages. Of course, people that they have difficulties drafting English will be a huge benefit. Okay, and also even for us, I mean, for the agency, for the ERC, they will do a quality check that they are addressing all that is required, like compliance, consistency, compression, and we will have less mistakes found when we do the assessment to check eligibility, to find clerical errors. I mean, so it will reduce also work for us, because the proposals, they will be much clearer if the system is good enough. We lose a lot of time in ERC. I think also here in the agency, there's a lot of resource investment in checking that the applications, they fulfill all the requirements. So these are the advantages. Of course, there are some risks, okay? So maybe the originality of the proposals may be reduced. Maybe we end with a kind of uniform-like proposal that very boring. But okay, of course, this all depends on how good is the system that we create and how flexible. Also, proposals may incorporate ideas of other proposals. Well, we have to be very careful that the system doesn't do that. And also, well, this probably can be cured with a good terms of use of this tool that funders may be considered liable in case of rejection. They can say, okay, I am rejected, but this is your fault, okay, because I use your tool and so on. So there are questions here to be addressed, raised, and so on. But I think the benefits could be much bigger. So reviewers, okay. Should we have a tool for reviewers? Well, probably there are many advantages here, okay. The quality of the reviews is an issue for many of us. The funders, sometimes the reviews, they are quite blunt, don't say much, okay. And sometimes they don't even address what they should be addressing, okay. And sometimes they use criteria that they made up, okay, that is not in among the criteria they have to use. So this could be helpful, okay, for to have a tool that provides support to them, also pointing out what is missing or inconsistencies, or for instance, if they are adding or the reproducing test that is in the proposal. That is a practice that we always try to avoid, but many people do. And of course, avoid inappropriate comments that sometimes are in the reviews. So I think it will be useful for funders, reducing potential for redress cases when some comments slip in the reviews that should not be there. And also, many of us, we do an assessment of the reviews. We do an assessment of the panel members if they are doing the job properly, okay? This is now, of course, done very manual, and we will have a system to do a quality assessment to decide whether this reviewer will be invited again or not, okay? So this is where, of course, there are some risks here, like reviews can become lazy, okay? Well, the system is doing for me, so I will not do much. But I'm not saying that the review, here I'm not proposing the review will be done by the system, okay? This is another step that is was presented before, is more a support tool for the reviewer. And well, the originality may be reduced. And yes, dissimilarity among them, too much politically correct, using yes, politically correct language, let's say out of the box comments may be missing. Then, still in reviews, one of the tasks our panel members do, and they struggle a lot, is the so-called panel comment, okay? Panel comment means that when they discuss, after the interviews, they have to write just a paragraph, okay, with the main, I mean, portraying the main decision, why they are taking the decision, why is an A, a B, a C, okay? And this is always time-consuming, challenging, and so on. Well, and here we could have also help from IT tool, at least to draft a first proposal for these panel comments. Of course, the final decision is taken by the panel and should be assessed by all of them and decided by all of them. But it could help to elaborate a first draft. Let me say that in the European Commission now they have created, using GPT-4 technology, a tool that is called e-briefings, okay? And it's amazing, okay? E-briefings, I mean, for civil servants that we have to brief, okay, often, okay, this is important part of our task. Well, I mean, it's you cannot believe it, okay? I mean, you put all the information in documents, the bullet points of what you want to do, and proof. And the first draft that is provided is amazing. It's extremely good. This is, I mean, now it's starting to be widely used in the context of the European Commission. So these tools can be produced to help. And then, I mean, of course, have the advantage is time saving and more equitable, maybe, because it's considering all the reviews. Sometimes in this description of panel comments, you just extract something from one of the reviews, but you disregard the others. So it could be more equitable. And, well, of course, the disadvantage is that the discussion is not taken into account if it is from the reviews or the interviews. But, I mean, thinking more in the future, okay? Also in the Commission now, they are working, I mean, civil servants, they do briefings and they do minutes, okay? These are the two more important tasks for, for civil servants. Briefings now is what is the job, yes. So now in briefings, we have this tool, but they are working on the tool also for minutes, okay? That the meeting is recorded, okay? And you just press, okay, give me the minutes of the meeting, okay? So well, we could use that here too, okay? I mean, the system could listen the interview, could listen the discussion of the panel, and well, the panel comment, okay? And then on that you can work, okay, to have the final version to be transmitted to the applicant. Okay, this is more talking about the future, but probably it's closer than we think. So identification of reviewers, that was also mentioned, okay? This is also challenging. For instance, these remote referees that we have between step 1, step 2, around 30% say no, okay? But basically the main reason to say no is that I don't fit. I mean, my expertise doesn't fit with the content of the proposal. So if we can improve there, okay, we will gain a lot in resources, a lot also in the quality. We have currently in ERC a system to do this, okay, since 2019, I think, yeah. But it's based more on a taxonomy approach linked to the proposal, linked to the publication record of the researches and so on. And it was quite well, for instance, in areas of life sciences, in areas of physical sciences. But again, here the challenge is that it doesn't work that well in humanities and part of social sciences. So maybe using this new technology, we could improve these systems to have a better way to identify these reviewers. Okay? Yeah. So and then finally, the next one is about panel configurations. Okay. Well, you have seen our 28 panels. Okay. Of course, we had to populate these panels with experts. Okay. And well, this is done very manually now. Okay. Trying to cover, because each panel has descriptors. Okay, there is a kind of taxonomy behind the panels, and we try to cover manually all these descriptors. But sometimes, well, we have holes here and there, so we can get help on that. But what is very challenging for us also in ERC, as I told you, this panel structure has been evolving. What would be ideal would be to not have panels, okay? That panels are arranged dynamically when we receive the proposals, because we receive a lot of interdisciplinary proposals. Sometimes there are discussions where to put it, okay? There are cross-panel reviews. Well, they are not really, we had a feeling that the assessment of interdisciplinary proposals is not really completely well done. It can be improved. And this could help on this. We had done an attempt in ERC in 2018 to do this, also based on taxonomies, but I think now with these new technologies, we may have an opportunity. Again, when we did it in 2018, it didn't work for humanities, okay? Well, it worked well for life sciences, but it's very hard based on that because, well, basically the information that we use is of the researchers, the panel members, the reviewers is in databases like Scopus, okay? And there are some areas that are very well portrayed, but there are others that they are not that well. But I think with this new technology and also having a more, let's say, open science system that publications, they are more available, okay, to be read by the different systems, can help to improve this panel configuration. So this is another room for use of this new methodology. Let me say, okay, that I just went very quickly through advantages, risks. There may be many others. I have been looking at, different approaches to the use of generative AI tool, and I came with this what is called faster principles. That is in the context of, is the Canadian government, which I found very complete about what are the features that all these systems should have, like to be fair, to not increase the bias just for using the system, to be, very careful that it complies with human rights, accessibility, fairness in general, okay? That is accountable, okay? That there is always a responsibility of all the content that is there, and that is compliant in the terms of very clear terms of use. Also that is secure, okay? That confidentiality is crucial for the work that we do, funders assessing the proposals. And transparent, okay? Just to be clear to the applicants, to the reviewers, to the scientific community in general, that we are using the tools and to present the features and also how these tools are trained and so on and so forth. And also educated in the sense that people need to be trained, okay, to use them and relevant, okay, just use it for situations that are relevant but not in general, okay, maybe there are situations that is not effective to use some of these tools. So these are, as I said again, very personal reflections, okay, to discuss maybe later in the debate. Okay, thank you. Thank you.